We're going to start in a couple of minutes. In the meanwhile, maybe Francisco Raul, you wanna say? He's here. 1 second. I think I got everyone.
Hey everyone,
Can you guys confirm you can hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you.
I can
Hey
hear you too
guys, I
also.
can hear you also.
Francisco, can you talk too so I can make sure that I can hear you?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, that's great. So we're gonna go with another XRP episode with Crypto Insights and the Blackswan Capitalist today. First, it's funny because we don't really know each other. I'm talking about Francisco Raul with Blackswan Capitalist because I do this program every Wednesday with Francisco and Raul, but usually we do this program in Spanish. So that's actually going to be the second version of the program in the English language. So perhaps Francisco and Raul, do you want to introduce yourselves, per favor?
Yes, of course. So I'm Fran. I started creating content around XRP around 1 year ago, exactly, the 5th of August of 2022, on TikTok, specifically in Spanish, around the XRP topic, the Great Reset, and well, I don't know if I can say this in Twitter. I don't want this to get banned, but yeah, basically about ISO 2022, about the controlled transformation of the financial system and how that process could be playing out in the future. And so, yeah, in 1 year, almost a little bit of over a year and 10 days, I've grown the audience to over 400,000 followers in Spanish. So that clearly indicates that in Spanish, there's a big audience of Spanish-speaking countries, people, sorry, who are interested definitely on this topic. So yeah, basically I started creating content. I met Eduardo in a blockchain convention in Paris, and we decided to, together with Raul also, start creating crypto insights to start to educate people on all this huge opportunity, this transformation that has a lot of information on English, but not that much on Spanish. So yeah, basically that's long story short how we arrived here. And yeah, my a little bit of about my background. I studied law at uni. After that, I ended up in the marketing world. And yeah, long story short, marketing drive me to creating my own personal brand on TikTok and social media and creating all this audience around blockchain and the opportunity that is going to be huge for people if they are able to understand what is happening and how it's going to impact their lives.
Excellent. Well, it's my turn. Hi guys, my name is Raul Fuentes. I'm the creator of Formula Bullish. I'm a financial guy. I'm past over 16 years working in big banks, in transnational banks. And well, that's why I then decide to start studying trading and all the investment topics, also the relationship with trading and algorithmic trading. Then I decide to start working in the social media and also found Formula Bullish. Well, in my journey to this foundation of Formula Bullish, the academy, the trading academy, and all the social media, I meet Fran and then Eduardo, and well, we decide to start the Crypto Insights program in Spanish. And well, it's a pleasure to be here now in this new initiative for the English speakers. Well, welcome all, and it's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Wonderful introduction. I want to say thank you, first of all, for having me on your Twitter space. I want to commend you and everyone else that's involved for all the incredible efforts and spreading awareness. So everybody needs to just keep up the fantastic work. A little bit about myself. My name is Versan Al-Jarrah. I'm an engineer, and in 2018, I went to study traditional finance. But what we really do now is just teach people how to strategically master the art of digital asset selection, because there's a lot of cryptos out there. We want to make sure people are getting the right things, how to profit from digital assets, how to shield your wealth, and more importantly, to understand the global economy, and just how to seize the boundless opportunities in this ever-evolving monetary landscape.
Thank you, man. I think it's a pleasure to have you on board. I think everyone on the XRP community at some point has watched some of your videos, and including myself when I have sometimes some questions or something that I want to clarify, especially about BRICS countries, gold standard. I know you are bringing great information out there, so I definitely recommend everyone to give him a follow right now. If you don't follow Versan on Twitter yet, or I don't know if I should call it Twitter or X right now. Anyways, I definitely recommend you guys to check his videos. So let me start this show with a simple question for both of you guys. And we just to clarify, we don't have an agenda here. We didn't plan anything, so we're just gonna spontaneously talk about XRP topics, perhaps the BRICS and also the gold standard. And I just want to thank you. The sponsor of this event is Kivo Wallet. It's a decentralized wallet. And you can see they are here on the audience as well. And in the end of this live, we're going to run a 50 XRP giveaway to someone who's going to be here on the audience. So you all guys know that XRP is a valuable asset. So I do believe 50 XRP is a great one to get started with this program. So stick to the end, and in the end, we're going to make this giveaway. So I'm going to ask you a question for the three of you, Francisco, Raul, and Versan, and I want you guys to give your perspective. We don't have to all agree with each other. So what do you guys think about XRP as a world reserve currency and how that's connected to the BRICS countries? So we can start in the same order as before. So you can start, I think, Francisco, Raul, and then Versan. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a really interesting topic, right on the spot, specifically on what's happening geopolitically today. So there's many theories about how this transition is going to be, and I want to start off saying that we all are trying to do our best guess, right? We don't have a crystal ball, and we know some pieces of the puzzle. We know that gold is going to be important. That's why central banks are hoarding it right now. They're basically setting new records. And we know that DLT is going to play a role. So for me, what's happening with the BRICS and the role that XRP could play has different scenarios. But one of the scenarios I thought was very plausible, and I was very verbal about this in the past, was that I thought, I truly believed that Ripple was going to leave the USA, because honestly, right now everything is fine, but a few months back, things really looked a little bit difficult in the USA with the SEC. So luckily, we have the first digital asset with regulatory clarity in the world. That's XRP. But one of the scenarios, so the way I view this is, how do you I try to analyze things from the point of view of how do you justify this for the citizens, right? So what's the scenario where it makes sense for the average Joe to understand that XRP could potentially end up being the world reserve currency and having the role that the dollar has had until now. And it made a lot of sense that if Ripple leaves the USA, and the BRICS forced, for example, now we're in the initial part of the de-dollarization, we're searching for a new world currency that is gonna have the role of the dollar from a commercial point of view. So we're going to have to decide as a society, the G7, the G20, IMF, all of them together, how are we going to operate in the future? And for me, it doesn't make sense that the ruble or the yen or other currency of another country ends up substituting the dollar, because you're changing one volley for another one. So it's like the perfect opportunity to really rearrange the financial system and put a digital asset as the world reserve currency. And one of the scenarios that made a lot of sense with Ripple leaving the USA is that it would have given the sense to the people, to the world, that if the BRICS forced upon the USA to use XRP for trading, for example, you want to import goods, you're going to have to use XRP. And and Ripple is outside the USA. It gives the public the feeling that United States is losing when actually they're not, right? Because Ripple is basically like saying that it's a government agency of the United States. If you analyze the board of directors, it seems like the CIA or the FBI. You have like it's huge. Like all the connection they have with traditional banking systems and public agencies in the USA, it's pretty massive. So the idea is how I'm having a difficult time to see how now in the future, from the perspective of the narrative, to convince people of the process, how XRP, if Ripple is not leaving the USA, is going to be forced from the outside, from the USA, force the USA to use XRP as trading dollar. So that was my perspective before the lawsuit. Now that the lawsuit has almost finished, I think it's going to be more USA forcing it to the rest of the countries. I don't know. I think it's good to keep an open mind to all the things that are going to be happening in the future, because I think there's going to be a plot twist at some point, something unexpected, something we might not know. We don't have all the pieces of the puzzle, right? So yeah, that's my take on. I had a pretty clear picture of what was going to happen, or what I was thinking was going to happen, and before XRP won the lawsuit, and because I thought it was going to last until 2025, 2 more years, but things are definitely accelerating. So whatever happens with the BRICS, I'm pretty sure it's going to be just another confirmation, another step towards XRP, or justifying that XRP and all the tokens related with ISO 2022 are going to have a huge role in the future. So yeah, that's a summary of what I think right now.
Thank you, Fran. Well, in my opinion, this starts when the United States decides to attack the system. Probably is part of the show, or the part of the all the plan that they have. No, but in my opinion, this starts when they decide to attack Russia and, well, other countries with SWIFT system, because the BRICS have all the project to start looking how to reduce the power of the dollar and the reserve currency. So another countries starts looking for the possibility to look for other options in order to avoid this type of block when United States is not your friend. So they start there. This starts there, and then well, in my opinion, this provoke a lot of things. The United States starts to lose power around 30% of the total of GDP, worldwide GDP, and all that stuff. But talking about specifically in all the relation that we found between the BRICS, the reserve currency, and XRP, I don't think that XRP will be unique or uh, only the only currency or reserve currency on the systems. I think we have one possibility that is two or three types of reserve currencies. Not probably United States dollar, probably another BRICS currency, and another possibilities to have a cryptocurrencies as a way to start supporting all the reserve currencies system, no? And probably we found XRP or another option. That's something that will be interesting to look and to know, no? And that's a question also for you, Bers, and I'm curious about what do you think about this possibility to have not only one reserve currency. Probably we have a basket of currencies related to a reserve currency or a way to make payments worldwide.
Okay, so first of all, I totally agree with both of you guys. First of all, what was mentioned was that there is an intersection between blockchain and gold, and I loved how he mentioned that in the beginning. But in this intricate tapestry of global finance, there's this significant shift that is unfolding. The world is beginning to consider its dependence on the US dollar. That's fading away. So countries around the world are slowly walking away from the dollar. And what's crazy is that the United States, if you look at the policies, the bad monetary policies that they've been allowing to go through, it seems that the US is even involved in dethroning their own currency. So I think what's happening is central banks around the world, institutions, they're exploring other alternative avenues for a more balanced and equitable financial system. So the evolving landscape then is characterized by growing desire for a new foundation built on trust. And that trust, efficiency, and inclusiveness, that's where I think Ripple, the protocol that uses XRP, emerges as a potential catalyst for that transformative shift. So that's why I've made those statements about XRP becoming a world reserve currency, or one of them. And I think there could be two. Even David Schwartz, I think the other day on his space, he mentioned something. There could be multiple reserve currencies. That's not too far fetched anymore, But I still believe that XRP stands to become a revolutionary reserve currency, or one of them at least, because it levels the playing field. It empowers not just individuals, it empowers nations alike to protect their economies. And then it has the ability to bridge currencies. So it's a way in and a way out of fiat. It is also able to navigate Forex fluctuations. So right now, if you're trading currencies, there's a lot of issues because it's slow. So there's a lot of Forex fluctuations. But beyond that, I think it just has the potential to address the global debt crisis. And, I don't think a lot of people are talking enough about it. So it basically is an antidote to counteract bank insolvencies. And that alone, I think, offers the transformative antidote to the financial instability that's already there. So I could see it playing a role as a reserve currency. It really levels the playing field.
And
I
you,
hope that
Pedro,
made sense.
what's your take on?
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. And well, I agree with you, Bers, and I think this type of consideration in XRP as a reserve currency is amazing, and also the technology and the trust that we can have on this part of the system. No, nowadays we are migrating on blockchain, and all our life, in my opinion, will be part of the blockchain. Not only the currencies, also the ideas, the tokenization about the world. And probably is the next step. I don't know. What do you think, guys? But what about the tokenization of, for example, the derivatives market? We have a news recently news about the Ripple entering the ISDA as a member. So, in my opinion, is part of these baby steps that they are doing to doing something more big than only have the presence in the currencies or as a part of one bank system. No, probably this is made by to have or to be in not only one bucket of the system. Probably we will find Ripple and XRPL working in different ways to start tokenize the world and be part of the new financial system. I don't know. What do you think, guys, about this?
Before answering the point you just made, Raul, about tokenizing the derivatives market, I wanted to add to something that Bersan just said about David Schwartz, because I think people didn't really pay attention to what David Schwartz really said, or at least what I took from his Twitter Spaces that went viral. And one of the questions I guess more asked is, hey, why would countries let a bunch of XRP holders, for example, or ISO 2022 holders get rich off of this, right? And what I really liked about the approach that David Schwartz gave is that they're not thinking about us, they're thinking about themselves. So their their view is they want to gain independence from the US. They don't want to be uh, blackmailed like Russia has been with the Ukraine war, um, with SWIFT, with other financial instruments, with the dollar, and they don't want to enter in these financial battles that have lasted a lot of time. So for them, it's, hey, we can continue like the system is right now, or we can start using digital assets um, to start trading, right? And what I liked about what David Schwartz said was that the collateral damage, he didn't use exactly these words, but he used a very similar word or a very similar concept, is that the consequence that a bunch of people would get rich off of this situation. So for me, that implies that um, it's almost like they already know what's going to happen. And something that has been very clear for me since I'm a kid, and maybe it's because of my background. Just for the sake of context, I've um, my father he's an ex-diplomat, retired. So when I was a kid, since I'm a kid, I've heard constantly about geopolitics in lunch, dinner, breakfast, constantly. We were talking about which country was going to invade another country, and one thing that was always clear to me is that there's a level above nations that the media never talks, that is interconnected, and it's the financial system. And they give us the impression that they're divided, but they're not. Um, there's way too many things at stake, and there's way too many things to lose if they don't agree beforehand on a new financial system where everything is done agreeing mutually on the whole process, right? So what we're seeing what I see in reality is, or my interpretation is, just a justification towards the public of this controlled transition, and that's why it was really mm, highlighting the fact that he said that they would make rich a few people who were holding these assets. Because for me, he already knows. I can't prove this. Obviously this is just my opinion, and this is not financial advice, by the way. It's just our opinion. do your own research, invest wisely, compare, search other opinions. There's people who don't agree with this point of view, and it's fine to disagree. But yeah, so just adding on that top of the David Schwartz thing and answering the ISDA, this news that appeared recently, that Ripple is going to be a member of ISDA. So if you're the owner of the financial system, it makes sense that if you know that something is going to happen, you decide beforehand which blockchains are going to be used to tokenize the whole financial system, because you're going to make a bunch of money in the whole process. So for me, it's actually a done deal. It's not going to be one single asset. There's going to be multiple assets. I think Yota, for example, is going to be asset is that is going to be really important. XLM and anything that has to do with ISO 2022. But yeah, basically, imagine the whole quadrillion market that is in ISDA flowing through a blockchain. How is that going to impact the price? And how is that going to impact specifically the flow of money? We don't speak about this enough, but one of the benefits of tokenizing the whole financial system is that the velocity of money is going to increase dramatically. So, for example, if you use Stripe, it's going to take 7 days for that money to go from point A to point B. And if you're in a global economy and you're selling digital products, imagine being able to be paid for your product in 3 seconds instead of 7 days. That means that you're going to have access to that money beforehand. You're going to have more savings. More savings is going to be in the system. Banks are going to be able to lend that money faster. Credit is going to be given faster. Companies are going to grow faster. So I think that we're talking about, or at least with blockchain, we're really focused on how much the tokens are going to be valued in the future. But what we're not understanding is how it's going to impact the economy, the velocity, the flow of money in the economy. I think that's going to be a huge game changer, and something we really have to take into account. So what your point on, what's your take on Eduardo also and Bersan about ISDA and what is happening with Ripple?
First, I agree with basically everything you say, Francisco. I think when people see the new financial system, they think very often in a negative way. And I totally understand that, because let's be honest, there will be pain, there will be a change. And unfortunately, many people who are going to join as consumers rather than early investors, they're going to feel this pain, especially more than the ones that are aware of the changes that are coming. So I do believe that one of the great aspects of that is that, well, we are moving from the archaic banking system, that we live in a world in the era of information, that everything moves very fast. But in other hand, we have the banks that, well, I doubt anyone on this conversation, on this X spaces, that never had problems sending money on the bank. There's a lot of friction. It's very slow. They don't work 24 hours per day. And I think in the world we are living now, the banks, they do need to change. I'm not saying the banks are going to disappear as in the past, some, let's say, Bitcoin maximalists, and I don't intend to offend anyone on this space, but we all know there was a huge portion of individuals who believed that, let's perhaps say, that Bitcoin would dethrone the entire financial system. That will not happen. And that's why I do believe the banks are seeking for alternatives, and XRP happens to be, in my opinion, the epicenter of the new financial system. Of course, I also agree with what both of you said before, that there will be a basket of currencies, and I can mention here XRP, XLM, XDC, IOTA, and some other tokens, just to I think everyone should be responsible and do their own research. This is not a financial advice. And for everyone wondering why there is a Bitcoin logo on my profile picture, well, I lost a bet. Unfortunately, I don't hold any Bitcoin. I'm just making it very clear to everyone. And I would like to discuss with the three of you a very interesting approach, because I do believe we all here agree that the financial system is changing and that blockchain technology and distributed ledger technology is going to play a major role on the new financial system. Now, the big question for me first is a matter of timeline, but I don't really like to make a lot of predictions. But one thing I would like to discuss with you, with the three of you actually, is that how actually the implementation of this financial system is going to take place and how important is going to be XRP on the implementation. And we all know there is this saying on the XRP community, which is the flip the switch moment. So how exactly is going to take place the flip the switch moment? How actually this is going to happen? And we don't even have to talk about XRP price here. I think everybody had enough of XRP price here, XRP price there. We want to actually talk more about facts and less about price predictions. So let me ask first our guest, let me ask Verson, how do you think this is going to take place? Do you think it's going to be like a gradually implementation, or do you believe there's going to be some event that might be a catalyst? Let's say that's going to be a trigger for this transformation on the financial system. So you can come on, Mike.
Okay, sure. So first thing I want to respond to the ISDA. You know, Ripple decision to join the ISDA, it's just another affirmation of their commitment to reshaping and modernizing finance. So that's good, very positive. More inclusiveness, more efficiency, and just more of a secure. So they're moving forward. That's very good news. As far as flip the switch moment, this really ties back then into the dollar and where the global economy is right now. The world is filled with pressing issues. It's crucial to recognize that the attention actually should be there are more important things going on than the price of XRP. That's going to be completely correlated, in my opinion, to the risk of bank failures that are going to stem from consolidating banking systems. And so sorry, somebody's calling me. I apologize, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm doing this on my phone. But yeah, as the demand for XRP intensifies, and it's going to happen eventually, because there's a lot of insolvencies, and this really ties back to the traditional banking system. We are insolvent. Global debt is insane. It's out of control. It's over 300, 400 billion dollars almost. So it's not sustainable. So it ties into this. And when all of this unfolds, it's going to start in the debt market. The downgrade with the Fitch, it just trickled down into regional banks. American banks are the biggest banks in the world. We loan to everybody. What does America produce? We reproduce debt and export it throughout the whole world so everyone can live with our shitty currency. So as the demand for XRP intensifies, eventually, I think the current supply of 100 billion XRP is going to prove very inadequate to meet the global demand that is going to be necessary in such a crisis. So the scarcity of such a situation like a liquidity crisis will certainly drive up the price of XRP to ensure that it's liquid in the new digital asset landscape. So, XRP again being there to serve as a bridge between central banks, it also has that capacity again to address currency value concerns. So the necessity for it to be high to sustain liquidity collectively underline significance of the transformation of the digital asset XRP. So I think it's just tied into when we see some sort of liquidity crisis and this debt market spill, it's going to happen eventually, guys. Mainstream news is not covering this. Nobody really in the crypto space is giving the other side of the story, which is the traditional banking system. This is where it's all triggering, and that's why XRP is again the bridge to the new system, which is yet to be defined. So we're getting there, but eventually this is when the demand for XRP increases because of such a situation. I can tell you it's going to skyrocket price. It's going to have to. So.
Well, talking about the question that Eduardo make related to how the process will be, I think, and I also agree with Verson, we have a huge liquidity problem in the world. And we start looking not only Fitch, also Moody's rating downgrades in specifically Moody's with the commercial banks. No, we have a problem with commercial banks, small commercial banks that lend the money to the offices and also the malls and all that stuff that they nowadays with the pandemic they didn't have the possibility to renew contracts or make another type of business, so they start losing also power, and they lose the possibility to have more gains. So these small banks have the two problems. The first one is the that the business are not paying the debts with the banks, and also the bank uh, have a debt with the Federal Reserve, and this debt is was think with 2% of interest rate, and nowadays this interest rate is no longer available on the market. So they lend the money, they didn't receive the payment, and also this money that they expect to receive the payment is more expensive than they expected. So this liquidity problem bring something additional to the huge problem that United States has with the reserve currency. So in my opinion, we start looking different announcements not only on the side of XRP only, also on economic parts of the systems, and also XRPs could be a solve to these liquidity problems, no? Because nowadays the banks or the business have a liquidity pool in different currencies to make payments or to process their business. And with this type of technology, with XRP or with the ledger, they could eliminate these liquidity pools and make not only the process more easy to transact, also more cheaper. So I think it's a matter of time that we start looking these announcements. Then, for example, if Bank of America announced that they will use XRP as an option, probably the impact or the switch, the flee, the switch, the switch starts when they decide to run the process, because the announcement is part of we start making the project, no, but when they start transaction the money or the currencies, we start looking that the escrow or the tokens available on the basket, we start running, and the price, in my opinion, we increment with this with this type of movements. What do you think, Fran, about this?
Just 1 second before Francisco starts. I have many requests here of people who want to ask questions. Just to inform that probably in the final, let's say, 10 minutes of the spaces, I will be giving access to the mic, so you can write your questions down. If you want, I can even give access to the mic, or you can just reply to the original tweet, so I will see the message and I can read, and the people after they can answer the questions. So just letting you guys know. And now, Francisco, go ahead with your insights, please. Thank you.
So yeah, I agree with what they've said. I would just add that maybe that liquidity crisis would come once the option of CBDCs is already established. So there's like different events, right? We could you have on one place ISO 2022. It started in March this year, and it will end in November 2025. So you have that part. You have the part of central banks developing CBDCs. So what I thought in the past was that the price so the moment of the flip of the switch would come because of a liquidity crisis. I still believe it will come because of this. I think it's going to be painful. I think it's going to be something positive also at the same time. It's a natural process. You need something to die in order to create something better. It happens in nature constantly, and it happens also with our human bodies. If you want to have a bigger muscle, you have to go to the gym, and it's a painful process. So we tend to think it's something negative because we tend to avoid pain, but pain is actually good. It's not good to
Um,
have your ATM closed 1 week.
yeah,
Sorry?
I'm entirely with you. Real quick, yeah, it's just if you look around, like think about it, all the policies that have been done, right? Everything that we've seen over since the pandemic, this has led to the deliberate weakening of the dollar. They've basically effectively weaponized it and its value against us, the citizens, and the rest of the world. As a result of this, that's why nations are inclined to seek alternatives. That's really where this conversation starts. Then they're looking for alternatives to the dollar-dominated financial system. They want to break away, and this has been going on for a very long time. So the sentiment of this is exemplified by what we call the BRICS coalition. So, you guys can even check out Operation Sandman, for instance. That's something that's really been talked about publicly and even off the camera. Okay. But the coalition represents a collective effort to walk away from the dollar and the paradigm of it and global financial architect that's built on trust and cooperation. And that's what we were talking about, leveling the playing field. So me personally, when I look at all of this stuff, guys, and I'm sure many people know this, I refuse to be swayed away by any theatrical performances of regulated institutions, including the SEC, because when it comes to, it's not just XRP, guys, and everything else that's being built around it as well. But people, their opinions and their actions are filled with so much noise and just misinformation, and I'm just so sick of it. Me and some of us here, we really stand very firmly in what we our beliefs are. We know what we own. We understand the true potential of XRP as an asset and a store of value, even. So, I don't let whispers divert me from recognizing all the possibilities that anyone who's holding XRP holds. So.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's going to be the process. I agree with what you just said, Bassam. The process, answering what Eduardo has asked, I think it's going to be painful. At some point, it's going to be a liquidity crisis. But the thing is, when is the liquidity crisis going to come? Is it going to come before CBDCs? Is it come after CBDCs? So answering the question, I think it's going to be around. I know it's impossible to give dates, and it's not good to give dates, but I think it would make sense around 2025, 2026, something around those lines, because I think
Agreed.
they don't have yet all the financial system, all the ducks on a row. Um, at least, I don't think it's going to happen in 2023. I might be wrong. I've been wrong in the past with timelines, so I'm open completely to being wrong with the timelines because it's difficult to predict something this big. It's really difficult. It's a very complex. There's lots of things to take into account, and yeah, basically, for sure, what the process for me is going to be. I think it's going to be painful for people. I think it's going to be short. I hope it's going to be short. And yeah, basically 2025, 2026.
I
Thank you
agree
for
with you. I really do. Mhm.
agree, and I think 2025 is a very reasonable timeline. And I would add that, in my opinion, there will also be, perhaps, and that's a great thing to say here, there will be a Black Swan event, in my opinion. And I do have some glimpse of what's going to happen, actually. And I have to be very careful here because there are some words, if you guys know what happened in 2019. Well, before of that, there was an event which was called 201, which was orchestrated by the World Economic Forum. And I hope everyone is familiar with the World Economic Forum here. in which they made a scenario about a pandemic that would overtake the entire world and the virus would spread from China. And well, I don't want to talk a lot about that subject because that's very sensitive for social media, but I do want to bring that the World Economic Forum has organized another event similar to Event 201, which, if I'm not mistaken, and Francisco and Raul, maybe you're going to laugh, that every time I forget the name of this event, but it should be called the Cyber Polygon event, in which they predict sort of a cyber attack event, which would take place globally. And of course, the countries would blame someone like, especially the United States, they were to blame someone like China, Russia, or North Korea, or whoever knows. And this event would take down perhaps the entire internet, who knows, or even, and with that comes also several problems, and it can take down the entire stock market, for example, the financial markets, the supply chain management. So that would be not only the fact that you cannot send a message on Facebook for your cousins, but of course that would have massive consequences for the global economy, and that could bring us to the global reset that is so spoken about. So this is my personal opinion, that we could have an event like that. Maybe you want to add something, Versan? What you think about this? You are aware of this event?
Yes, I am actually. I covered it in one of my old videos, and I'm not even kidding. About a year ago, I had to take it down, like 9 months maybe or 10. So I actually got a warning from YouTube and from Twitter for posting it. So I took it down, and it was basically one of those like 3-4 minute videos of with the music and just trying to get people like to know how serious this is. And they made me take it down. I'm not even kidding. I couldn't even monetize on it. So, you know, but I had to take it down, and I know exactly what you're talking about. There is some sort of, I mean, it's one of the cards that they can pull, and I'll be honest with you, there's quite a few they can pull if they want. So I'm not going to get into those details, but this is why I'm always telling people in such an increasingly digital world, because that's the direction this is going, right? You have to have tangible assets, because virtual wealth, don't get me wrong, it's undeniable, but the notion of holding physical assets is such a crucial and powerful strategy to safeguard your financial and personal well-being. And this is why I have a substantial position in physical assets, metals, because it's here. I can touch it, I can hold it, I can trade with it if I need to, if shit hits the fan. So it's not good to be all digital. You have to diversify your portfolio. But of course, if you're going to be in digital assets, make sure all that stuff is on cold storage. Cold storage because it's not connected to the internet. It's on the blockchain where it's safe and secure. And I think if they did play such a scenario, it doesn't sound far-fetched anymore. They've warned about this publicly. Again, not being far-fetched, but it would really pose a significant challenge for everyday people who rely on digital, like your banking system, your microwave ether, and people are not prepared for such a scenario. Maybe some of us are. So yeah, it's just something to be mindful of.
And now
One,
just
one,
to give an insight here, now it makes a lot of sense because when we do this show and the Crypto Insights in the Wednesday, very often I spoke about this event and I sometimes forgot the name of this event. And I remember in the past I used to watch videos, including yours, about this specific event. And suddenly most of these videos, they got removed. So now it's very hard to get any type of content around this specific event that I'm even scared to mention here. So yeah, that's clearly one of the ways that they can, one of the cards the governments have in their hands to bring it up. And Francisco, you can go on with your insights.
yes, I
And
was I was gonna
just
add that.
to say something that I think Versan has to leave, I think in about 10 minutes. So after your insights, I would like us to jump for, if you want, also Raul to add something, and then we can jump to answer questions for the audience. That's it.
Just a quick funny story. I've also suffered censorship on TikTok, and you might find this funny, Barsan, but one of the videos that was taken down, of course, every time I talk about a liquidity crisis, it's taken down. Not that much nowadays, but specifically at the beginning. But one of the videos I didn't expect that was taken down from TikTok was me, where I said nothing special throughout the whole video, but at the end of the video, I said that Ripple was in reality an agency of the USA. So that those words triggered the censorship of the video. I think it's funny. It doesn't indicate anything, but I think it's a funny story.
Real quick, I would love to give my input on that. And hey, you might be right. I'm not kidding. You might be right because Ripple again is a centralized. It could be a centralized entity because it's a company. It's not like the digital asset itself, which was pre-mined. So the question is, it really is concerning, and this kind of ties into what you said earlier. Well, I have a friend. I'm gonna publicly share this. That's fine. I have a friend. We've interviewed him on our channel. He's a 14-degree Mason, and he actually shared this with us. He told us that they are going to present a hero, in a sense. They're going to present a hero, a double-edged sword. That's what they'll call it. That way, people start to lean towards a false liberty, a false freedom, and even a false messiah. He said that to me over the phone. So, what I then tweeted once was that I believe that they are intentionally trying to bring all this up out into the open in order to confuse us like a massive psyop. So at the end of the day, governments are not going to go away. And this is why, again, people should be positioned outside the system and within the system, because this could go anyway. We really don't know. And like you said in the beginning, we're all trying our best on research and reading and going back and forth in conversations like this to figure out what the hell is going on. So we have an idea. But think about it. If we're going digital, what are the chances that's not going to be regulated by some nasty motherfuckers out there? Excuse my language, guys. Okay. I just get frustrated with the direction the whole country is going in. Everyone's all for this. Okay. In governments too. So it could be a trap. You never know. But I don't want to be a digital gulag. So I position in and out of the system. And I encourage everybody listening here to do the same.
Yeah, I completely agree. I hope it goes the positive way. I think specifically now in time, it's kind of like of a question mark. It can go both sides, but I really hope it goes in the right direction because if not, the line down the road can be really disturbing. But yeah, I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah, and I'm with you guys, and many of us, I think we all have a good understanding of how this is unfolding. So, as long as we have our community like this, and community is something also we teach, and I'm sure everyone here knows that, but the importance of community, of like-minded individuals, even if we don't agree on everything, at least we can come together and work together and even save each other from a potential disaster. But if you're positioned in and out of the system, you're going to be safer than the rest because most people are going digital. I can't believe it. People are already giving out their eye scans for this new world coin. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen it. I haven't done it personally, and I don't think I'm gonna do it in a long time. But yeah, it's like people don't see the pieces of the puzzle going all together because yeah, it all ties up with smart cities and all this topic. So yeah, let's envision between all of us a positive timeline where these things we only see like the positive part of it. But yeah, anything can happen. So let's keep an open mind and totally agree with owning physical stuff, even if you can own land, not depend on like centralized systems. The more independent you are, the better. But at the same time, understand the system, and if you can profit of the process, the better.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. And all I want to add is related to the storage. Agree with storage, your coins, your digital assets in a cold storage. But additionally, if you want to add additional security to your devices, you can buy also a Faraday bag and gave additional security because this bag could avoid any wireless connection through the exterior. So probably, in my opinion, we need this additional protection for our assets. And I agree also to have metals and all this stuff as an investing option in your wallet.
I'm totally with you guys, and I gotta say this, but what you guys are doing here is so commendable, including what I'm doing too. We are really trying to help people foster uh, all this stuff while going to this next level, this digital transformation. So the importance, again, yes, cold storage, Faraday bags, they're cheap. You can get them on Amazon, but it does protect your digital devices from cyber attacks, solar flares, anything connected to the internet. So I do the same thing for my laptop. I have a spare phone in one as well, and then the rest of the hardware wallets. And another thing I'd like to add is anyone who's storing their crypto in the hardware wallet, it's a good idea to have at least 2 or 3 different hardware wallets so you can split the risk. If your stuff is all in one and you lose your keywords or they get stolen or something like that, it's better to have them in multiple so you don't, if one gets corrupted, you can't still get your other two. And never put this stuff in a digital format, obviously, your 24 seed phrase. Don't put it on your phone. Don't put it on your laptop. Make sure it's on paper. So sorry, we got off topic, guys, but yeah.
Well, I think that's not off topic. I think that's essential for people to actually protect their investments. And I do believe that we should not put all of the eggs in the same basket. And in my opinion, it's essential to focus on digital assets, gold, silver, commodities in general, and real estate as well. I think land is very important. And throughout the history, the people who actually purchased lands, they succeed a lot, especially throughout the century. So I do believe that land is also going to be very important for the next decade. And if you guys allow me now, let's give access here to some people to ask some questions. I know that Versan, you have to leave in a couple of minutes, so I'm going to start giving access to Mike, some people that were actually asking the questions. And in the end of the spaces, I'll be running the 50 XRP giveaway from someone on the audience. Just make sure to qualify for this giveaway, you have to follow all of the co-hosts and the participants. So that includes Francisco, it's Coach FEO, Formula Bullish, and the Blackswan Capitalist, which is Versan. You can find them on the top of this page. So let me give access here. It's Mo. I saw you raise your hand some time ago, so let me give you access to the mic. I just invite you and you can ask your question. Let's see if he's listening to this. Give me some reactions if you are. Yes, you are now a participant. You can unmute yourself. Let's give him some seconds because I have also, yes, you can hear, just confirm to me. There is also this, his username is RT55, which is also asking access. I'm gonna quickly give you access to the mic and you can ask your question. Let's give them some seconds. And I do have also some other questions here. I actually would like to address this one to Versan. There is some comment here that says that central banks are buying gold at an all-time high, and he's asking why isn't the price of gold moving up substantially? Perhaps you are the best one to answer this one.
Okay, yes, absolutely. So the price of gold is 100% manipulated, even the COMEX. Silver prices go, palladium, they've been manipulating the precious metals market since Nixon took it off the gold standard, okay? In order so that the institutions can print as much money as they want. And by doing that, what they've essentially done is built the military industrial complex and completely devalued the currency. But the gold price is manipulated so that way they can continue to collect as much as they can throughout the whole world while still making profit on the COMEX as well and playing the markets. But the whole thing is 100%. I'm not even kidding. It's rigged, guys. Even the stock market is rigged, okay? And some people even are suggesting that the crypto market is rigged too. And we've seen that with FTX and some of the other stuff. So, the evidence is in the pudding, man. It's out there. But the precious metals market, what they're doing right now is Bank of International Settlements has, people already know this. It's fact. They've reclassified it from a tier 3 asset class, which is high risk, to a tier 1 asset class, which is zero risk, guys. That should have been on world news. But if that was on world news, everyone would start buying gold and dumping dollars right there and then. But people don't read, they don't follow up with this stuff, so everyone missed it. However, people like me and some other individuals out there, we hopped on it real fast. But the price of gold is manipulated. Now, when they're ready, and they will be soon, and this ties back into what our first co host said in the beginning. He said that there was an intersection between blockchain and precious metals and or commodities. And I agree with him entirely. He's absolutely right. So they're going to reset the price of these very soon. And that all the price of gold, what is it going to be at, right? In my humble opinion, I believe that price of gold, an ounce, could be over $10,000. And that's a bit exaggerated, I get it, okay? But it will gradually start working its way to $3,000 to $4,000. And that's going to be a result of systemic risk as a result from the debt market. And that's kind of what I said in the beginning. All of this shit is going to start in the debt market, 100%, guys. Because the debt market is the only thing America produces, debt all over the world. Once that shit goes down, the whole thing is going to reflect on the global economy. And then the price of metals is going to go through the roof. It's going to have to. And another thing also, all that money and treasuries all around the world, it's going to be looking for a place to sit under. So visualize the physical amount of metric tons of gold, okay? And taking all that money on derivatives, stocks, whatever, okay? And putting it under a few 100 ounces of precious metals. The price would go through the roof. And the whole idea about Zimbabwe having about $12 trillion of gold, that's bullshit. They did that to manipulate the price of gold, and gold went back down. So they're playing games, guys. I'm telling you. Physical assets, gold has been sought for thousands of years. It's the most important metal out there. It's used in all your phones, all your electricity. It's used in airplanes, jets, space programs, whatever. So gold is very essential.
I agree completely with the fact that specifically the crypto market is completely rigged. Like all of it is rigged, but specifically the crypto market, and they're
I
gonna.
was trying to be modest.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, people think it's a scam, and truly it is a scam. Like there's more than 26,000 cryptos. Most of them are gonna disappear, exactly like in the dot-com bubble. But at the same time, we had Amazon, we had Google in the year 2000. And I think the same history is going to repeat. We're going to have the new Google, the new Amazon on crypto, on blockchain, but we're going to have to go through the painful process of um, 95 plus percent of them disappearing and pumping the rest of the blockchains that they decide that are going to be the winners. That's my point.
Agreed. And if I can add something too, this is not part of the question, but I hope I answered his question I tried to the best of my ability. I hope it satisfied him. But a lot of the crypto assets people are talking about, many people still believe that these technologies are competing against each other. Many of them, okay, and there I understand 22 something thousand cryptos. Yeah, many of them are competing. Those are called copycat blockchains, and like he said, most of them are going to get wiped out. That's true. You can't have that. There's too many blockchains fighting for the same thing. It's not going to happen. Okay, but what's interesting is that some of these blockchains, the ISO coins, for instance, they're not competing with each other. They're complementing each other because that's what interoperability is all about. These are technologies that are targeting different niche places in the global marketplace, serving different parts of it, right? And they're all still interoperable, so they can work together in a seamless fashion. And I think that's really the crux of this, is that these technologies are not really fighting each other; they're complementing each other, So they're all going to be built in with each other in a sense. I hope that made sense, but yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, can I ask a quick question?
Sure, man. Yes, I gave you access on the mic before, so you can go ahead with your question.
Sure, thank you. I'm big on XDC, XLM, and XRP, but I've been doing a lot of research as of late, and there's another coin called SHX, which is with Stronghold. Do you guys have an opinion on that particular asset?
Unfortunately, at the moment I don't. I haven't actually heard of it.
Okay.
I know there's one that's being built on XDC right now. It's called XSP, I believe.
Yes.
They were doing some interesting things, and I was looking into it. And a friend told me it was an ICO, initial coin offering, so I kind of backed off to just watch it a bit. That's
Yeah, I
more
don't
than
blame you.
any other coins. I'm very sketchy about ICOs, initial coin offerings, because what they do is they raise money and then they have their burn fees, and that's how they get returned, and then they try to get listed on other exchanges. And, it's just I don't know, man. I try so hard to just focus on what we know has insane potential, um, and everything else. I there's so many options, guys. Even Casper, even Cas, KAS. That I made some good money on in the last few weeks. I told people to get in at 2 cents. It's at 4. It's running on the Bitcoin blockchain, and I'm not a big fan of Bitcoin, but if you guys know how the cycles work, Bitcoin is going to get propped up again. So they're going to delay a little bit with this ETF shit, but they're going to prop it up again. They're going to have to, because the Federal Reserve is being demanded to do more, and that means inflate. So they're going to have to print more money again. Bitcoin will have to go up again, and KAS is running on that Bitcoin blockchain as a layer 1 protocol that can facilitate transactions faster and cheaper for Bitcoin. So I know there's some potential, you see. So I put a little bit of money into that, and I've already profited, and I am holding it for another 6 months just to share that with you guys. But it's not financial advice. So I do look into some stuff, but it's just I'm not good with this.
So, me personally, I've heard about Stronghold, but I can't give you an informed opinion about the project. But I like something that Warren Buffett once said. It's kind of cliche, but I agree with him with this, and it's that diversification is how ignorance, I think it's the word he used, protect themselves against lack of formation education. So what I'm trying to say is that the more I study about ISO 2022, the more I study about XRP, XLM, XTC. It's true. There's not going to be a one winner. There's going to be plenty of winners, Yoda, and so on. But the more I study, the more I narrow down on less than 7 tokens, 8 tokens, not more than that, because yeah, there's more than 26,000. So you can really get distracted chasing all the opportunities, and you really only need like 5 good ones. That's it.
Yeah, this is what they call fear of missing out. So it's an emotional response. So me, yeah, I don't do that stuff. I try my best not to. There have been so many of my friends and people who I trust, and they're doing very well, and they keep saying, check this out, check this out. I don't have time for that crap. I invest in what I know is going to be used and utility based, and the rest of it is just noise. And until that, this takes off, I'm focusing more on the inflation, because that's very scary. People need to think about the inflation and what it's going to do to people by next year. I'm not kidding about this, guys. It's going to be very tough. And like he said, the process is going to be painful. So make your investments, forget about it, put it in cold storage, focus on skill sets, focus on acquiring tangible assets, focus on becoming more relevant as AI takes all the jobs.
Yeah, that's actually great advice. I do believe that inflation is not only in the next year. If we just see, at least I am located in Europe, and I know Francisco's here as well. Raul's in Mexico, and he's in Texas, I get, in the United States. And I think this is taking place worldwide. We just see the prices are skyrocketing for everything. I know it's like, at least in Europe, you take 100 euros. That's 4 or 5 years ago, you could do a bunch of stuff with 100 euros. Today, you can barely go to do the grocery shop. So I do believe it's time for everyone to really try the best version of themselves and learn new skills, because inflation is coming, the world is changing, but there is also plenty of opportunities out there. If you are qualified enough, if you're actually realizing what is happening, you can actually position yourself before the majority, before the 99%. That's why we focus here on becoming the top 0.1%, we not only hold XRP and wait, but we also have a tendency to always tell people to be the best version of themselves and not just sit on the computer and wait for the crypto wallets to pump, because that's not enough. That's my opinion. And let's see, there is another person who wants to make a question here. Is Shidera or Kidera? I don't know exactly how to pronounce your name, but I'm going to give you access to the mic. And let's see. And in the meanwhile, maybe if you guys want to add something, Raul,
Yes, I wanted
Francisco.
to add quickly just the concept that when you are this kind of investor and a utility investor, we're searching for real utility in the world, you're gonna miss on other opportunities. And you have to be fine with that because you're gonna see people who's gonna earn money with Pepecoin, with Memecoin, with Frogcoin, or all these alternative coins that have no utility, are absolute scams, and you just have to do one thing and it's basically be patient. Be patient. Patience is a skill that pays really good, and you have to know that you can't chase everything. Just chase utility. Have your flagship ISO 2022 and just wait.
Yes,
Agreed.
Francisco, I agree 100% with you. And in the same way that there are, let's say, hundreds, if not thousands of people who on a daily basis might win the lottery in the entire world, because we're talking about many countries, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and play in the lottery every day because you have a possibility. I mean, the same that happens with meme coins, just like happened with the Pepe. Well, for every person who made money out of that meme coin, there is 99 that actually lost money because they bought the top. So you have to be very careful with when playing with meme coins. That's one advice that I want to give to everyone, and to focus. This is not financial advice; it's my personal opinion. To focus on utility tokens and to have patience, because time will show us that we make the great decisions. And I do believe that 2025 is a great timeline for seeing some results already. Now, Kidera, you want to go ahead with your question? You can unmute yourself.
Oh, real quick, guys.
Okay. Hello.
I'm so sorry. Real quick. Yeah, I actually still have to go. But I want to thank you for allowing me to join you guys, and I'll go ahead and follow the co-hosts as soon as I get off here. And again, thank you guys, and let's talk again, okay?
Yeah, man, thank you. We appreciate a lot. It has been a wonderful spaces, and well, I think Raul and Francisco, you can tell me if I am wrong, but we hope to see you again with us in the show very soon.
I will be.
Thank
I
you.
Exactly.
promise. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining. Then
It's a
talk to you
pleasure.
soon.
See you.
Hello, Endo. I have a question to ask.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, go ahead with your question. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, my question goes like this: like this SRP, because I'm new in this Binance app, so because I normally see this app on YouTube, so I say let me just give it a try. Because I follow you people up on Twitter and some other apps, especially on Facebook. I normally search a lot about it. And there's something I'm hearing about this SRP is going to be high in the next 2 years coming. So my question is that is it going to rise at the, let me say, like 2025? That's my question.
Yeah, thanks for the question. First of all, guys, he's a beginner, so I think it's first of all very great that you are joining the spaces, making questions. I can clearly see you get started in crypto perhaps recently, so congratulations. You are doing a great progress in my opinion. I think everyone should be doing the same, should be doing their own research, and if they are beginners, well, you can still come on and ask questions. Now, just to quickly answer his question, we don't specifically give timelines or price predictions of XRP or when is it exactly going to take off. That's very hard to predict. Now, in my opinion, just my personal opinion, not a financial advice, I do believe that in 2025 there are going to be plenty of events at a global scale that might take might actually cause XRP price to increase. That's how I want to answer this question. Francisco and Raul, do you want to add something on top of that?
Sure, as you said, Eduardo. First, congratulations, as Eduardo says, to start in this new journey to manage your money. I think it's great, and that's why, for example, I found Formula Bullish because, well, it's interesting to teach the people how to move the money, how to invest, and also, as Eduardo says, we don't like to talk about the prices because it's like to talk about when some natural event will happen. But in my opinion, also this invest will be a good invest between 1 year to 5 years. So there's a bunch of events that needs to happen to see the price increasing. But also, in my opinion, it's a good time to start investing in this type of assets. Is like when probably the people decide to invest in Amazon or in Apple very near, and now the companies are huge and have a lot of money. So I think with cryptocurrencies, with some great projects, we are in this near time to invest. And also, well, I my recommendation is to keep you informed, read the projects that you want to invest in order to have more experience and also more information about the projects that probably were interesting for you.
So yeah, answering your question, I tend not to give timelines. I have done it on this Twitter Spaces, but I would just say that if you're new because you're a new investor, first of all, congratulations. And second, um, you also have to know that the price can decrease dramatically on the following months. Okay, we don't know exactly how the steps, how the market is going to evolve. We know it's going to be big in the future. Big is a we don't know how big. Okay, let's leave it there. It's going to be big, but in the meanwhile, there's going to be problems, so the price might decrease. And I think people don't think about this much, but if we go through a liquidity crisis, we're going to see everything drop probably significantly, right? So that's going to affect also the price of XRP and all the tokens related to ISO 2022. So you're going to have to be prepared mentally to see something you might don't like to see, and that's fine because probably there's going to be a correlation between the solution and the problem. So yeah, just basically, lo- uh, I said in this call 3 years. I think I thought 6 months ago, I thought completely different. I thought it was going to be 2030. I think it's much closer than what we think. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but things are getting pretty bad. um, De-dollarization, and specifically today, Michael Burry, who is a guy who he shorted, went he went against the housing market in 2008, made a lot of money, and he has published that 95% of his portfolio is shorting the majority of the index funds. So that should tell you that he doesn't think it's far away. If it's not far away, it means the solution to the problems we might face as a liquidity crisis won't be far away either. So yeah, let's just keep an open mind about prices, about timelines. I think 3 years is something reasonable, specifically with what is happening right now on a geopolitical level with the markets, the ratings, and so on. But yeah, 2025, 2026, probably sooner, but time will tell.
Okay, so we have another person asking for a question here. It's user Kaiser Key. His Twitter name is actually DR, so you can actually come on mic. I'm gonna add you as an active participant. Raul, if you want, or Francisco to add something, and I think, okay, let's see.
Well, I only want to add that, as Francisco says, be patient. Nowadays, there's a lot of noise on the market, on the news, Ukraine, the war, the recession. That probably this noise make the people anxious and not be focused on the real important things. So also be patient, stay informed of your objectives and your investments, and that's it. I think in a couple of years we will be talking about the good investments that we decide nowadays. But today is time to be patient and to be very informed about the news and the changes on the investings.
I'll just add that
Hi.
I would just quickly add 1 second that I would focus on controlling your emotions, like on developing yourself, because if people can't handle what is happening with the market now, imagine in the future. So just focus on developing yourself, emotional control, and developing good skills, good habits, and patience, and that's it. Sorry, you wanted to ask that question?
Hello everyone. Thank you XRP. XRP community is good. I think it's increasing. I'm actually my question is that Gary Gensler, the SEC, they are going to Apple or what? About SEC is going to Apple about the security.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so if
We
I
yeah, just telling that we understand the question because he was going to repeat because I didn't mute him. Thank you for your question. And okay, Francisco, you can go ahead and answer.
So yeah, I think this is a really good question because I will answer the question with something that Monica Torres said recently. And in a recent interview, because of the ruling of the Judge Torres, she has publicly stated that the banks are starting conversations again with Ripple for use cases to help them basically. So that tells you that the banks, their financial system doesn't care anymore about the court case. For them, it's already finished because they know that, like, put yourself in the shoes of the bank, some bank like Bank of America or JP Morgan or Santander. These are huge banks. If they're thinking of, if they are actually engaging again with Ripple, that means they don't care, and they don't care about the appealing. They know it's done. They know it's dead. They know the court case. Maybe they will appeal. Maybe it will drag down until 2025, and it's okay. But until another judge says otherwise, the rule of the land is that XRP is as a cryptocurrency. It's not a security. It's a currency. So for them, that's what is important, and that should tell you that at this point, the lawsuit is irrelevant. At least this is my take on what is happening with the court case. There was some kind of doubt before Judge Torres said XRP is not a security, but now that we have the green light of the financial system saying, hey, we are talking again with Ripple, that means it's done.
Yeah, thank you for your insights, Francisco. I do actually agree with you. Now, as a matter of law, XRP is not a security, and in any case, to reverse that decision would take years. So by now, time is by our side. We all know that in my opinion, this is a very well orchestrated political theater. And well, I want also to say that there is Pitch Blacks. He sent a request, and if you want to ask a question, you can actually go ahead on the mic and ask your question. And I want to also to welcome Amelie, who just joined the Twitter Spaces here. She's very active on the XRP community. So welcome, and you can go ahead with your question. Unmute yourself. Pitch Black Mirror. I had the request from you, and you can go ahead with your request. And in any case, Francisco, Raul, you want to add something else? Because I don't think he's listening, maybe?
Yeah, I am listening. Actually, I am asking that institutional sale is security. That's it, now.
No, so what the judge has said is that the way it was sold is a security. XRP in all the cases is a currency, but it can constitute in the way it was sold an investment contract. That's the difference. So in all the cases, XRP is not a security. That's the difference. But it can be sold in a package with some other features that can make the whole package a security, but not XRP.
This also has just gave us a clear idea that now financial institutions are going to purchase XRP from the exchanges as well. So that's, in my opinion, also a very positive sign. And okay, I don't see more requests for coming on the mic here. If anyone wants, you can still actually raise your hand and come on the mic. Now, if you allow me, I'm going to actually choose the two winners for the XRP. It's going to be 25 XRP for each one. And this is sponsored by Kiva Wallet. And by the way, guys, if you were a bit confused with what happened to Ledger a couple of months ago, where there were some posts by Ledger themselves affirming that they were sharing the seed phrases. And well, there has been a lot of confusion around Ledger. If you don't feel comfortable with Ledger anymore, I do recommend you to take a look at Kiva Wallet. You can actually find them on my profile. So, Francisco, Raul, in the meantime that I'm choosing here the two winners, perhaps you want to leave the final thoughts for the audience, and I'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, of course. So I repeat this in all the calls and all the crypto insights in Spanish, but I don't see it in English because this is our second one. But I would encourage everybody to start getting involved in any shape or form with blockchain. Create a community, start creating content, go to events, get in touch with people who are like-minded because you're going to need it in the future. And specifically, start developing skills that are going to be useful in the future. So learn about marketing, create an audience, learn about how to build a business, learn any kind of skill that is going to be useful in the future. Because in 10 years' time, you're going to be thinking yourself that in 2023, you started building something that is going to be specifically very valuable once we move towards a more technological society where every time it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find the traditional job 9 to 5, right? So you don't have to do everything at once. Just start one step by another one and get involved, learn a little bit every day, and go to conferences. I'm going as a speaker to the World Token Congress in Madrid, the 19th and 20th of October of in a few months. So you can find actually online tickets in my profile. There's a discount also. You can apply and you'll get a 20% discount. And even if you can't go physically, you can go online. So there's no excuse to start getting involved with all this ecosystem that is going to be huge in the future. That it's they're building everything right now actually. So it's not late. Get in and get involved. And you, Raul, what's the last thing you wanna
I
say
agree
to
with
people?
you. I think the world will be very different for now. In 10 years, we will have different ways to look the world, the blockchain, the artificial intelligence, the jobs will be very different. So we need to adapt to these changes that we are facing now. And I think it's a great opportunity to start looking different ways to learn this new world that is coming, because well, at the end, if we adapt more quicker than the rest of the people that are not prepared, I think we will have better possibilities to make it great in the near future. So be informed, get or be part of different communities of information that you are interested, and study, invest. That's my advice for today.
And of course, it's not financial advice, but if you can get your hand on a few tokens of ISO 2022 related, that's also a good idea. But no, I would say just invest in yourself. It's the best investment you can do. Having digital assets is great. Having physical assets like gold, silver is great. If you can own the piece of land, that's great. But the best investment always is going to be in yourself. So don't be shy and invest in yourself. Spend the money, learn, because maybe it doesn't make sense now in 2023, but it will definitely make sense in the future once all of this ecosystem grows exponentially, because we are at the beginning of it. And you will be glad that you were investing in the platforms, in the education to understand what is happening. So yeah, that's basically the key idea. Eduardo, how is it? Do you already have the winners? How is it going?
Yes, so I have picked up one randomly winner. So the first winner is Pablo Palazon Casanueva. I think the username is Wilmore1969. And I'm going to announce the second one. I need a couple of seconds because I use a software. And just a reminder, to qualify, you have to be following me and the two co-hosts. And you, if you are the winner, please send me the XRP wallet to my DMs, and you're going to receive the XRP. And okay, give me a second here, and I'm going to announce the second winner. I'm just checking if they are following all of the criteria. And the second winner is, let me see, okay, CFC XRP, which the username is Cascunfalson1. So you can also send me a DM with your XRP wallet. And just to finish the spaces, I want to thank you everyone for joining the spaces. And we do the crypto insights in Spanish every Wednesday. So if you are a Spanish speaker, probably you already know that. You can join us on Francisco's TikTok, actually. And about crypto insights on Twitter, we still have to define more specific dates, but for sure we're going to be making more episodes. So stay tuned, because we're going to see you guys in the next episode. Thank you, everyone, and have a great Monday or Tuesday, for depends the time zone that you are. Something else to add, Raul, Francisco?
No, thank you
Thank you.
everyone for being here. It's great to have crypto insights now in English with all the topics that we are talking about and are very hot, these topics nowadays. See you on next episode in Crypto Insights in English. And if you are a Spanish speaker, you can also join us on Wednesdays on TikTok.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Eduardo and Basel. He already left. And yeah, really looking forward to meeting you next time. And yeah, we'll definitely have more crypto insights in English with more guests for sure. So yeah, let's keep it up and see you next time, guys. Thank you.